Issues that the WTO needs to look at, firstly, is unilateral trade measures, special and differential treatment, as well as support for trade in green goods and technology. So the priorities for the WTO in terms of sustainable trade should start from conversations around unilateral trade measures. I think that we've seen a lot of these come into effect recently, more especially with the EU's measures around CBAM, EUDR and so on. I think that the manner in which these measures are implemented and crafted in the first place is one area that's cause for concern, because they have disproportionate impacts on countries, especially in the developing world. Secondly, I think that in terms of sustainability, it's also about the WTO facilitating a lot of trade in goods that are important when it comes to sustainability. So green goods, for instance. The WTO is at the center of tariffs, customs duties, and so on. So how can we ensure that we have favorable terms for trade in this particular product? So for instance, Africa would need access to technology. So how can the WTO actually support access to technology for African countries, for those in the global south, to ensure that then they're able to get into the green technology space? You need technology to be able to undertake inventions, to get into e-vehicles and so on and so forth. Then when you talk about things like critical minerals, there are provisions within these WTO frameworks that we can use to ensure that we actually trade more in these particular products, and then we have them benefiting some countries in the global south. I would also mention special and differential treatment, which is one of the hallmarks of the WTO in terms of supporting countries, especially in the global south, to be able to implement agreements in a more flexible period, having longer transition periods and so on. When it comes to sustainable trade, I think that there's room or there's scope for special and differential treatment to be made more effective, to ensure that the countries in the global south are supported with measures that will enable them to actually benefit more from these trade agreements.